Welcome, welcome, guys, to our Q&A live interview tonight. We got a good one. We got some good coaches this week coming on. We're really, really excited about it. Tonight we have on Coach Ayres from Princeton University that's going to join us in very, very shortly. We're really excited. We'll follow him off for tomorrow with a Coach Goodale of Rutgers. And we're really excited. I really want to know a lot about how Coach Ayres kind of brought his team from where they were to where they're at now. So I got a lot of questions for him, a lot of things I would like to ask him. So what we do during these interviews, guys, is we do about a first half hour just talking to Coach Ayres. And then about the half hour mark, we'll let you guys ask a little bit of questions. And then we'll go back into some more questions with Coach Ayres. And then we'll finish off with a little bit more questions, all right? So let me try to get in Coach Ayres into the room now. Hold on one second. All right. Let's get Coach in the building. Really excited about this one. Hold on. Should be in here shortly. There we go. Coach Ayres, there we go. All right. Coach, hopefully you're in here. I did just send you a request. Hopefully we'll get you in here very shortly. So guys, again, very, very, very excited about today's interview with Coach Ayres. Should be a very, very good one. Coach, did you get it yet, Coach? What's up, guys? It's going. Thanks everybody for coming on. All right, I think we're having a little technical difficulties. Coach Ayres' first time on Instagram Live, so we're trying to. Oh, there we go. All right, I think we're good. Wait, Coach. Oh, all right. I thought was it my fault or was it your fault? I didn't know.
Probably my fault. This is the first time I've ever done this, so I'm going to go ahead and say user errors on me.
I'm sorry about that. I really, I was trying to connect you. It wouldn't go through. And I didn't know if it was on my end, if it was on your end. But we're here. We're good now.
I sent you a request, too. So
Oh, okay. Sure. I don't know. It wasn't going through,
whatever.
but it's all good. You're here now, guys. All right. So let me just introduce you to everybody, guys. Guys, we got Coach Chris Ayres, head coach of Princeton. He's a former All-American at Lehigh University. I don't know. Some people knew about your college wrestling career. You've been 14 or 15 years at Princeton now.
14. This next year will be 15.
This next year will be your 15th year. Awesome, awesome, great, man. So it was great to have you on. I don't know if you've listened to a couple of our other interviews, but we kind of just do a half hour of just some Q&A and some interview, and then we let some of the kids ask some questions, go back to the interview, and then we go back to some more questions. So,
awesome.
So glad to have you on. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. As you know, considering the circumstances, I'm doing great. Tough situation right now, but we're getting through. And just trying to stay relevant with the wrestling and just keep my mind working on it. So it's good. It's good. We're getting into routines now finally.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, sooner or later we'll be back to normal. I know that you guys are you're making the best of your quarantine at home. I've been following your homeschool with the Ayres in the basement. How's that? Where did that come about? Who started that? Whose idea?
It was my idea. It's interesting with my daughter and my son. You know, people might think I train her a lot and I train him a lot. the fact of the matter is they're in their own program, so I don't get to work with them all that much. The spring and summer is a little better, but all winter I help my son a bit because I help coach the youth team. But my daughter all year, I really didn't work with her. Maybe 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
She's like the captain of her team and stuff, so she can't break away. So this has been amazing for me to work with them. We just work just about every day, and we just go through some series, and it's fun for me to try to, give the knowledge I have to my own kids, where it's never been consistent enough where they can kind of get a whole series. And I just thought for myself, it's like, hey, I got a couple built-in workout partners where most people don't have that, and I figured I'd just share it, see what happens. But it's been so fun connecting with them, and then also it's a lot of people are following it and saying it's really helping them too. So it's been fun. It's been really cool.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing a lot of high level technique, a lot of things I was looking at. I'm like, I was very impressed that I'm picking up so I can show to my kids.
Yes.
Did you always have a mat in your basement, or did you just like roll it out just now?
No, so we had it in the basement for a little while, but honestly, it doesn't make much sense. And then my wife didn't really want it down there anymore because we have the wrestling room at Princeton. I'm only probably a mile and a half from Princeton, so it's sort of like silly, and the mat's really small. But it was at Jadwin, and so obviously I knew it was there. And right around the quarantine started, I was like, I'm grabbing this mat because who the heck knows when I'll see a mat again. So I just brought it in. So we don't really usually have it in here just because we're so close to Princeton.
Yeah. And does your son wrestle too, or no? Or is he just?
Yeah, he wrestles too. He's been at it probably 4 years or so. He's a sixth grader. So yeah, he's into cross country too. Seventh grade, my daughter started really getting into it and started to really kind of advance. So I don't know what his course will be. I mean, I didn't really get into wrestling until my sophomore year, like really into it. So he may choose another sport. He's so young, but he dabbles. Yeah.
That's cool, man. I mean, so you're just talking about right now about you starting as a sophomore in high school. You started wrestling?
No, well, so no, I wrestled
taking it serious.
Fourth grade. In my sophomore year in high school, I really kind of fell in love with the sport, I think.
Yeah.
And really, became a student. I had such a simple idea of what wrestling was, and I was pretty good at it with that simple idea. I thought it was a fireman's carry, single leg, and 6 other moves that you do. And then, it's funny, some of the stuff I'm showing. Then I saw Sergey Beloglazov do a clinic at the World Team Trials. I'll never forget it. And he was doing things, and there's no flow or anything, so you didn't have access to a lot of. He was doing things. It blew my mind, and at that moment I was like, I gotta know this stuff this guy's doing. So I became like a fanatical Beloglazov fan. And guy Don Ernst, I don't know if you know him.
I know Don. Yeah,
I met him. He had a bunch of Beloglazov videos. So that started really my real intense passion for wrestling. Was one clinic essentially, and after that year, I was just fanatically into wrestling.
So I read somewhere where it said that you wrestled in Jersey, and then you finished off your career, I guess, in Blair Academy.
Yep.
You never had a state medal. Is that true?
No, that's true. Yep. No state medals. I probably should have my senior year. I was pretty dominant. I had one close loss to the kid who actually took second in the region finals. Really close. I was so dominant throughout the year. I didn't know how to handle a close match, and I had this. You learn your mentality across time, and I had this notion that I should just kill everybody. Like I trained so hard, and I did all this work in training. I sort of felt like the state title was owed to me because of my training and everything I put into it. And a kid beat me, and it really set me back. And so from there, I felt like I was a little, I had a chink in my armor, and then I couldn't win a close match. So then I lost another close match at States to actually Brian Stoll.
And then, I was trying to get him on yesterday.
And then, so I lost to Stoll, which he lets me know about almost every time we have a conversation. And then, once I couldn't win States, I make a joke. I took my ball and went home. It's the most it's my most disappointing thing I did in my life was that I didn't go and take third. I didn't go and get, the next thing. I was like, I took my ball and went home. I'm like, I can't be a state champ. Woe is me. I worked so hard, and I thought it was owed to me. But, I learned later on as I matured as a competitor, nothing's owed to you no matter how hard you work.
Yeah.
You have to go out and prove it in competition. Competition and training are two things. I don't like the I don't like the I don't ever say you win in training because it's not true. You training gives you the opportunity to compete at a high level when you're competing with other high level athletes.
Yeah.
That when you get to a certain level, everyone's training at a very high level, and then what's going on up in your head is really what makes the differences between the winning and losing, I believe.
No, I mean, that's really, really great insight. I love hearing stuff like that. The main reason why I even brought up that topic was because I like stories about people who did not, you know, pan out to what they wanted to be in high school, but then were able to find their way in college. And reading a little bit about you, you definitely seem to find your way at Lehigh.
Yeah.
You're one of, are you the win leader in
So when I graduated, I had the most wins, and then I was beaten by John Trench. I think I'm second, but I'm not really sure.
okay.
Um, I was in a good time period where we just wrestled a lot of matches too. Like even today, these guys don't wrestle as much as we did in that late '90s period, I think through the '90s predominantly. And so that was a little bit of the reason. I had a lot of losses too with those wins.
That's all right. I mean, no, but listen, I mean, you All American. You took sixth at 157 as a senior.
Yep.
I know that probably was definitely a goal of yours when you went into college. I mean, thinking back about not placing in high school and
Yeah.
having that little chimp on your shoulder, and now you're just like, you know what? Forget about that. This is where I'm at now, and now I'm an All American. How'd that feel? Become an All American, get in place.
Yeah, that was big for me because my junior year, so my sophomore year, I lost in the All American round in overtime. So that was tough. I really believe if I would have won that match and placed and sort of had that monkey off my back, I do believe I would have been a national champ. Just progression wise, there's a little added extra pressure when you hadn't done one of the things yet. Uh, my junior year, I had a really bad NCAA tournament. I was actually seeded either fourth or fifth, and just didn't wrestle well for whatever reason. My senior year, I'm pretty proud of that. Unfortunately, I'd beaten both the champ and the guy who took second throughout my career. But what I'm proud of is I lost in the quarters, a very close match. I I overcame that hurdle that I had in high school. I didn't take. I want to be a national champ. I mean, when you're at that level and you're close, I'd beaten national champs. You just think you're going to do it. And so what I'm really happy about in my own life is just that I kind of undid the wrong of what I did to myself in high school, and I found the way to get sixth. And where I'm sitting now, I think sometimes things happen for a reason. I think if I would have won nationals, I probably would have stopped wrestling, and I probably would have went into business. But I still think when I didn't win it,
Yeah,
I
there's
still
something left.
felt like I still felt like I had stuff to do. So kept me in wrestling, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, so you All American your senior year, and then you become an assistant wrestling coach at Lehigh
Yeah.
for a couple of years, and then fast forward to you getting the job at Princeton. What year was that in?
So that was '06. '06, '07 was my first year at Princeton. So I was at Lehigh coaching and wrestling and competing well, not competing the whole time, coaching for about 6 years.
6 years. And so Princeton, I mean, you got called for the job. I mean, they weren't known for wrestling, and not many people talked about it. I mean, that's a huge commitment for you to
Yeah.
take and responsibility. I don't know if I read it right, but did you guys go 0-35 in your first 2 years of coaching?
I I don't know. I don't keep track of those early years. No, it was something like, I honestly don't know. I think it might have been 37. Yeah, so for me, at Lehigh, we had done a lot of great. We were top 10 every year. I was an assistant. We were third and fourth too, so we had gotten trophies at the NCAA tournament. So I just not saying I did it, but I was there for that, and that experience was really powerful in terms of I saw what a really good team looks like, and even when I went to Princeton, I knew what needed to happen. I felt like in order to have that happen at Princeton, I also knew that I was just an All-American at Lehigh. Let's be honest, most of the guys that get hired for head coaching jobs, they're assistant coaches that were really good wrestlers, national champs, or they're head coaches at a maybe a program who's not at the top, and they've shown they could win. And so for me, it was like I got to take a chance here. That year was funny too. I'd interviewed for Virginia and Hofstra as well, and didn't get the Hofstra or Virginia, but I'm happy I didn't actually, because I feel like this was where I was meant to be. And so, yeah, so we started, we were, it's kind of indicative of my career. I'm a glutton for punishment, but I sort of just stick to things. But yeah, we were on 35 or 37, but I knew we could be good. I knew we could be really good.
So, I mean, listen, it doesn't mimic your high school career, but it's very, very similar that your high school career didn't start the way you wanted to, but the way you finished was on top. It seems to be same thing that's going on with your coaching career.
Yeah.
Where you started and where you're at now. It's very similar, correct?
Yeah, 100%. I think we have this higher standard manual with the team, and there's all these character traits that we think are the most important to being successful. Our philosophy's in there as well. It's all written down, and I think that's important too, by the way, just that the team know what your philosophy thing is and what is important outside of, like, you got to be able to finish a single leg. And so my favorite character trait of all of them is perseverance. I think that I've shown that, and it's kind of reflective as well. I'll stick to things, like even to a stupid level, because I just think that we can get it done, and I'm very optimistic as well. And so I in my life, I've stuck to things even when it was really difficult, where I just wanted to make something good happen. And I just really wanted it too. Like, it was like I was willing to do the work, I was willing to put in the time, and I was willing to handle the setbacks to get to another level. And so I think that's, of both my high school into college career and my college coaching career are very similar, especially coming from Lehigh. You finish third in the country, and then you go to a season where you don't win a match, and you don't win a match at Easterns. It's a different type of feeling.
No, I hear it.
For sure.
No, and then so basically we fast forward every year. You're getting better and better and better and better, and we fast forward to 2019. Last year, you guys qualified. I think 2017 you guys had a good year too, but in 2019 you guys qualified 6 guys for nationals.
Yep.
And you had 3 All-Americans, and you finished 15th NCAA.
Yeah.
Did you think, starting back when you started in 06, that it would take that long, or did you, or were you just like, this is right about the time I was thinking?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was so naive.
I bet.
I thought I'd have this thing whipped into shape in 5 years, and it was an interesting thing. I've said this before. I really thought it was about teaching single legs and high crotches. At the end of the day, when you're coaching, I didn't realize all the other things that go into it. It's such as to build a program, like a college program. There's so many pieces that are so incredibly important, and teaching the kids is a big piece of it, but it's such a little piece of the whole puzzle. And so it took me probably longer to figure out what I needed to do. I knew what I needed it to look like from Lehigh. I didn't really know how to get it there, I guess you could say. So it took me some time to figure that out, basically. So yeah, it was. I thought it would be a lot quicker.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a lot of people think that way, but you know what? You continued every year to get better, and it seemed that it was just finally getting to the level that where you're at now. So you get three All Americans with Brookie and Kozlik and Glory. How'd that feel getting your All Americans?
It was awesome. I mean, that was the most Lehigh. That's the most Princeton's ever had in one year. So we've been on this trend of sort of breaking records or doing things for the first time or doing a thing for the first time in a long time. And so getting three All Americans, what it really showed me and showed our staff and our team, it showed that what we're doing is right. And it does produce really good results if you stick to it. And as you know from coaching athletes, that's key. If you get that buy-in and they believe in what your philosophy is, and you put your philosophy out there, they know exactly what you're thinking and why you're doing what you're doing, and then they get the results. Then it's like magic from there. And so that was what was a little disappointing. I'm sure we'll get into that about this year's.
Yeah.
We had we were rolling into there with some more firepower than we were last year. But last year was a really special year. That was what I thought we could be. And what's interesting now is, if you would have told me that first year, after that year, like, hey, don't worry, you're going to have three All-Americans in one year, I would have thought that was going to be the best year of my life as a coach. But it's funny when you get in the culture and the culture grows and you have three All-Americans, we want a trophy. Like
Exactly. You want more.
we want to be top four. And not even we want to, we can be. We
Yes.
know we can do it with the recruits that we get, with the culture that we have. We think we can win a trophy. And then, what's after that? Why not? And that's one of my things too, is the perseverance thing, but I'm a big time dreamer too. I thought I could be a national champ when everyone said after high school, there's no way you should even wrestle in D1. Why are you even thinking about it? You didn't even place in the States. And I just thought to myself, like, no, if I keep working, I can do these things. And so similar here with the college team in Princeton, that was a big year, but it was there's bigger things ahead of us, I guess you could say, when you
Yeah.
move from there. So it was a special moment though. I that'll be one of the banquet after that was really cool. Last year was special. The three guys were special, but our fan base grew a lot. And I remember I went to this banquet, and there was people from other teams that came because they didn't have a banquet, from the EIWA that hey, you're having a banquet. You guys did pretty good. Let's go to. Can I come? Yeah, come to our banquet. And so there was probably 150 people there. Rewind back to the first. This is not a joke. Rewind back to the first time we had an NCAA qualifier. I think there were 9 people.
Wow.
Outside of the parents and the kid that came to our thing. So
wow.
It's just so cool on multiple levels, like how everything has grown. I just feel so fortunate to be a part of this growth.
And that you get me a little amped up just talking about all this. So so you get your three All Americans. You go into this year. I think last year you ended at 9-6. This year, I think it was one of your best seasons. You were 9-4. You were 5-0 in your conference.
Yep.
And you knocked off a couple of ranked teams when you started off by beating Lehigh, who was ranked 7th at the time. You beat them 18-14, close match.
Yep.
Your 4 losses come against, quality, teams like Oklahoma State, Iowa, North Carolina, and NC State. A lot of those losses were, here and there, like, not, kind of close, not too close. I know the Iowa one was big, a big difference, but, I know this was a weird year this year because it was Olympic year and everybody, a lot of teams had their best guys out. I know you did as well. And you went on this year and you won your first Ivy League title since 1986. You beat Cornell 1913. So, your season, at the beginning went it like that's a dream season for you right there as you continue to progress. So talk a little bit about your regular season.
It was interesting because I think we were 2-4, like at about the halfway point, but that's how we schedule, because we try to get the Big Ten teams. We try to get the better teams early in the season, just because we can't get them when they're wrestling their Big Ten matches. So a lot of times we face the toughest competition early on. So we kind of had this crappy record, but we knew how good we were. We were still getting some looks in the rankings just because we beat Lehigh. They had beaten Oklahoma State. Honestly, we wrestled good against Iowa, even though the score was a little spread a little wide. I think we won 3 matches. 2 may have been upsets. D'Angelo, as you know, you're a little biased. I think he had a takedown against Lugo that didn't get called. We could have taken 4 there, but just how we wrestled, that's what we talked about. Like, we wrestled them tough. And then Okie State, a guy gets a skin infection. We have a forfeit. We probably would have won that duel at Oklahoma State.
I remember that, yeah.
If that guy was in. And so the dual meets were fun this year. And that's part of our philosophy, to get back to, talking about what the team believes in. We schedule tough. I mean, my goal is to be 500. If we're better than 500, we should be in the top 10, which we were close to this year. And I think we should have been in the top 10, but we can talk about those rankings a little bit. I think Lehigh was, and we were. But anyway, so c'est la vie. And then we got some big matches with Cornell and Rutgers. So it was a phenomenal season on the dual meet side. Really proud of my team, because I put them through the ringer. We wrestled at Oklahoma State, and then we flew home and wrestled Iowa here on Sunday.
Well, let's talk about that Iowa match. I mean, I've been to some of your matches like earlier when you guys weren't as good.
Yeah.
And we found out that Iowa was coming to Princeton. I mean, the whole state of New Jersey was like, dude, Iowa's coming. I mean, there's a lot of Iowa fans here. I mean, granted, and we're like, they're coming to Princeton. We're like, we're going. And I go there. I didn't know what to expect. I'm driving there, don't know what to expect. As I'm getting closer to the university, I'm seeing the guys with the little things that are telling you which way to go. I'm like, there's no way, dude. I'm like, I see the dome from far away, and I'm like, and I'm getting rerouted to a whole nother direction. And they're like, yeah, you got to go that way, like about half a mile. And I was like, there's no way. Yeah. And as I park at the end, I'm looking at the time, it's running. I'm running full speed to the match because, I don't want to miss like any of your lightweight good guys and stuff like that. Yep. And I'm like, I'm running. Me and my fiance, we're running down. Some people are walking. I'm like, I'm not missing shit. And we get there and we just look at that crowd and we see the size, the magnitude of what this match was. Yeah. And I was just amped up. I got to see all the way like in the triple deck. And I'm like, there was nowhere else to sit. And I'm like, I couldn't believe that this was a Princeton match. Yeah. What does that feel like? Where do you see the future of Princeton? Is it do you see it going that way all the time with these big programs?
I think so. I've seen a shift. Obviously, we've gotten a lot better. We work really hard at it. Social media. We weren't a ticketed sport at Princeton. Now they're ticketing some matches, and I think they may ticket all our matches next year. But of the matches we had at Jadwin, we averaged 1,500 fans, which is pretty good. But I do see a shift with a lot of people, even in high school matches in the area. I see a lot more people coming out to the matches. When we travel too, we wrestle some pretty good schools when we travel as well. Great crowds. NC State, amazing. Where I think if we would have wrestled NC State 8 years ago, let's say we were as good as we were now, if we were wrestled NC State 8 years ago, they would have had nobody there. They were packed when we were there. So you're just kind of seeing it all over the country. People are coming out for matches, and obviously it's a little bit because we're good. Our fans are coming out too. A couple of neat things about Princeton. What makes it unique? Princeton is the town. Like there's a town around Princeton. We're not located in a city where we're like this tiny attraction, and there's so many other things to go. And we're not located in the middle of nowhere where there's nobody around. We're in a great location to bring big fans. And we run the youth program for the town. So like our rec program comes out of our gym. And so we work hard to build that too, because that brings a ton of fans to our program in terms of the parents. The town gets excited about the matches, and that's always been my dream, and that's always been my vision.
Cool.
My wife painted a picture that says wrestling is Princeton is a wrestling town, and that's what I want it to be. I want more cauliflower ear at the Starbucks on Nassau
I like
Street.
that. Yeah.
And so we're trying to put a product out there where people will come, but I see it growing. I love what Rutgers has done. I know you got Good Ale coming tomorrow. And that was when we wrestled them last year at the rack. That was the best environment I ever wrestled in, Lehigh included. That match, I don't know if you were there. That match was intense. It came down to the wire. Their fans are throwing stuff at us. I don't know. There was rowdy as hell, and I love it. They're swearing at me. It was like a little bit like we wrestled at Iowa that same year, but Iowa's a little bigger.
Yeah.
It's a little more intimate in the rack, a little more like dark and a little dungy, you know.
Yeah.
So I love what's happening. I mean, I think Rutgers is doing a great job. Riders has always had a pretty good following, and so we should have a great following too.
So I want to talk about that, because that was actually next on my list of questions
Cool.
that I talked to you about. So listen, I'm a Jersey guy. You're a Jersey guy. We love our wrestling, man. Wrestling is life around here. I mean, for me, it's life. It's what I do for a living, you know. And I mean, you know, Rutgers has been consistently good for the last, 15 years, you know, and I'm good friends with Scott, and I remember when he first recruited Scott Winston was kind of like the beginning of Rutgers, their era, and I'm good friends with him, and I'm a big supporter of Rutgers wrestling. I love going to watch matches over there.
Yeah, you should. It's awesome.
And now that you guys been coming in the mix and stuff like that, I became a huge fan, and I think this is good for just the state of New Jersey in general. But I know, as a competitor, when it comes out of your competitor side, I mean, that's like me wrestling my friend in the room. I mean, he's my friend, and I want to kick his ass. Like, I don't care. I don't want to give him a point. Before we get into that, like, from now and moving forward, do you guys have a circle around the Rutgers match on your schedule? Or do you guys just want to pretty much just beat up on anybody that you wrestle? But is there a circle in that Rutgers match that is more meaningful, during the year?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we're 3 turns away. I mean, literally, you make 3 turns, you're at Rutgers. You make 3 turns, you're here. So it's a crosstown rival. It's the classic. How many D1 programs are this close to each other? And there's a little hype behind it. We're both good. We like each other. We work together with the NJRTC for 364 days of the year. There's one day where we just don't get along. It's like, I think it's more like not wrestling your friend. I don't have a brother, but I've seen brothers wrestle each other. It's more like brothers wrestling each other, right? They're really close, but boy, it could get heated. There's a little extra, you might be able to punch the guy. I think it's a rivalry, and that's what you want. So definitely, we circle that one. And there's a few other we circle on our calendar for sure. But Rutgers is a big one for us. We want to win that match.
So, I mean, Rutgers, if you look at their roster, like a good chunk of their roster, there's a lot of Jersey guys, okay? A lot of Jersey guys, which mean you got that Jersey pride, that Jersey swag. Your program has a nice little mix. You got kids from Jersey, you got kids from all over. So I'm just, the Jersey guys on your team having that Jersey type of swag, and they want to be the best, like all Jersey people are. Are they the only ones on the team that have that extra little fire, or do they bring the other ones? They reel them in too.
Yeah. So we're if I could get all Jersey guys, I would. But it's pretty hard to get into Princeton. That's the number one denominator that really knocks. That's why we have such a diverse team by state. But I do love that diversity. I mean, we can roll into Illinois and get kids, or California, and even the South. We've gotten a few good kids from Georgia. I mean, Quincy Monday from North Carolina. So, but no, once you come into Princeton, you're Jersey. I mean, that's just what you have to be. Our whole staff is Jersey except for Nate Jackson, but he's pretty much Jersey now. So everyone kind of converts, even in the RTC. Reese and Downey and these guys, they're Jersey now. It's like they got
I'm
the
seeing
swagger.
that. I'm seeing that they're getting a little Jersey.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think this might be their first. Well, hopefully there's a summer, but it might be their first summer here, and they can really get the Jersey Shore feeling. You know?
Yeah, they got a feel for it. They got to lay in the land. The last year,
I can picture Meredith being a nice Jersey Shore guy.
they'll get their white tanks out, you know.
So you all right? So the stage is set, and you guys wrestle Rutgers this year, and you guys beat them 18-15. You know, very close win. How'd that feel? You know, was it something where you thought it could have been a bigger score margin, or you know, kind of just about right? Where was that?
The surprises in the match were Koladzik's fall. He usually wins by decision most of the time, so him getting the pin was big. And then on the other side of that was the Brucky loss. I think those were the two, surprises in the match. We got a couple of the toss-ups, I felt like. 65 was a pretty big toss-up with Cuomo, and then 84 was a little bit of a toss-up as well. So I think we kind of won those little toss-up bouts that were important. So it kind of, the score was about what I thought the score could be. But hey, as you know, when you try to map these things out, which I do before every duel, I say, hey, here's what I think, like just to the staff, and they say, hey, here's what I think. I'm never right.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been right one time. So
you got to get that one guy that's in your staff that is kind of the book guy that kind of.
Yeah. It's not me. That's not me. I'm way too confident in my guys.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, I mean, this is definitely going to be a rivalry for years. I really do believe. I think it's only going to get better from here. I think the crowds are only going to get bigger. And I think it's going to get even more heated. But it's something that we need. It's something that we really, really, really desperately need in New Jersey. I mean, you know, since we got some D3 programs that are cut and stuff like that. And I think that, you know, the more exposure we can bring to Jersey, the better. So I got, you know, when there's always some good news, there's always a little bit of bad news. So I want to talk about this guy. His name's Rick Fortenbaugh. Fortenbaugh?
Fortenbaugh? Yeah.
Fortenbaugh. He writes for the Trenton Times.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be good.
I don't think he's a fan of you guys, all right? And he wrote in one of his articles, he wrote that after the match, when you guys beat Rutgers, he was saying that, I guess the announcer was saying that you were going to maybe sign some autographs in the lobby and stuff like that. So he said, he's like, oh, what is this, Elvis in the building right now? I mean, what do you feel about that, man? That's like, you know, I mean, like you deserve it. You deserve what you get, you know? I mean, like, I know there's haters, you know?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
You know, I say it's better to be hated than nothing at all.
Yeah.
So especially when you're in a program, you know, it's sort of like, you know, think of any major program that's historically good. Say the Yankees, you either love the Yankees or you hate
That's
them.
true. I'm
You have a feeling about them, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, and for me in our program, hey, we made the Slammies or whatever the hell they're called. I was like, at least the I think he had a few about us. Some guy in Argyle socks he was talking about.
Yeah. Because you talked about this earlier about how you wanted to build a culture in Princeton. And you know what? That one match that I went to against Iowa, afterwards we were hungry. We were like, yo, let's go grab something to eat.
Yeah.
So me and my girl and a buddy of mine, we went to a local, I think it was a brewery or something like that.
Triumph.
Yeah, maybe somewhere, I forget. And we sat down, we had a couple drinks and we ate, and people were there with Princeton wrestling and stuff like that. And The bartenders are talking about wrestling. The bartenders know about your team. The guy next to me knew about the match.
Yeah.
And I'm like, for a second, I'm like, I can't believe I'm in Princeton right now. Like,
Yeah.
this is like, you know, and talk about, and that was actually my first time in that town. And you talked about earlier about building a culture.
Yeah.
And he also mocked in his article, and he said that someone had a sign that said Princeton is a wrestling town.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? The guy's a loser because it is.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Hey,
I mean, so talk about that, man. I know you
Yeah.
talked about it before.
If you spend time here with us and just really in our department, in our town, it's a big deal right now, and it's only getting to be more of a big deal. And so definitely, I go into places they know who I am. It's a small town. It's an awesome place. Like, I mean, you were here. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The restaurants are great. The people are great.
The town, nice. I love it.
It's great. And on campus too, it's getting to be a big deal. So it's a little bit how we've done it too, with who we wrestle and how we've risen up a little bit. I mean, a lot of people who come to that Iowa match, maybe that are students, don't know that some of the people are there because it's Iowa. They think like, wow, this is a Princeton wrestling match. I'm going to go to more of these.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's becoming it. It's not what I want it to be, but it's pretty nice to just know that you're known. You know, like, for instance, it was pretty funny. I just noticed this. This never happened before, but we had there was one weekend we had matches here and it was nice out. And so, you know, it was that morning I was like in town walking, and the one shop had, like, you know, they could pick any sport to hang outside that like pulls you in. They have like a little stand, you know?
Yeah.
And they have the one Princeton shirt they have is a Princeton wrestling shirt. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I never saw that before. I go another time and there's not a match. That shirt's still up there. So I just, it's not like they're not thinking about putting that shirt there. That's the shirt they chose. They had football, they had lacrosse. Not that those sports aren't great, but it was a winter sport that at the time, it was like right around the winter season. They had hung up a wrestling shirt. So it's pretty neat. You have a vision when you start something, probably same with your club, and it's hard going in the beginning, and there's a lot of times where, you know, you might even want to say, I'm done with this. I don't know if this is worth it. But then you get to a point where it starts to happen and that vision becomes a reality. It's just so satisfying. So that's happening here. It's just, I mean, even our youth numbers are they just keep growing, which is pretty amazing.
I love it, man. That's very good. A lot of good news. So I don't think we're going to get questions now. Maybe we might go a little bit over that, because at 1 hour it turns off automatically.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, I mean, if we over 9, if we got to go back on and go back off.
Yeah, that's cool. Whatever.
So we get some questions. Time goes fast when you're talking about good wrestling.
Yeah.
So this year, let's talk about this year.
Or I might be just talking too much. I don't know.
No. I love hearing everything that you're saying. You know, this year started out great for everybody. Started out great for you. Started out great for me. We have 38 kids that qualify for my kids.
Wow.
From my club that were going to Kid States, and they canceled the states. So, which was huge, heartbreaker for us. So, you send 6 more kids to nationals this year. All right. And you take Kozlik comes out of his redshirt year.
Yeah.
And Olympic redshirt year.
Yeah.
All right. You finish out your season, you go to EIWAs, and you got the 6 guys that qualify. You have Glory, Kozlik, Monday, Rookie, the kid Grant.
Yeah, Cuomo,
and the kid Travis Stefanik.
Stefanik. Yep.
I like watching that kid wrestle, by the way. That kid's good.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
I like that guy. So you go to you qualify the kids to go to nationals. You know, the New Jersey States just end.
Yeah.
You go to the Big Tens to go watch the wrestling. I'm super excited for nationals coming up. This whole coronavirus hits us like a storm. And you're probably hearing buzz people are probably texting you and calling you, hey, it could happen. It could not happen. We don't know.
Yeah.
You finally get that definitive answer that all sports are going to be done. I think after we saw when the basketball NBA
Yeah.
season went out, that's
Exactly.
when I knew we were done forever.
Yep.
And then you get that news. How does that make you, your staff, immediately? How do you got what's going through your mind and everything?
I was a little prepared for it, like you said, that morning. The basketball thing was coming out. Plus, the Ivy League had said they were going to cancel the spring seasons. So I sort of felt like it's not gonna happen. So I hear the news. What I had done though is I kind of anticipated that it was going to be canceled. It was actually a cross training day, so we were doing yoga, and I told the team, I said, "Hey, just be at the room at 4:40. Just be ready to be at the room at 4:40 in case I hear something," because I just felt like it was going to be that day. I didn't know what time, so I think it's around 4, I think, that I heard that. And yeah, we pulled all the guys into the room. How'd I feel? My immediate thoughts went to my guys, to be honest, and I think the staff did too. As coaches, we get more shots at this, but I couldn't imagine losing one of my one shots to do the NCAA tournament. I mean, I don't like. I think about my administration. I think they understand. It's like the Super Bowl of wrestling. There's no other event that has more people at an event to witness wrestling than the NCAA. So, I thought about Glory, him maybe getting shot at Spencer Lee. I thought about Kolodzik. I literally 2 days prior, he was getting hit with stalling at the end of matches. It was a big problem. We had figured something out where it clicked for him and me, and I was like, he's going to win this now because he doesn't get scored on really, takedown wise. So yeah, I just immediately went to my guys. I was just so devastated for them that they lost this opportunity. And then the next layer was we maybe had the best team ever at Princeton, period. I thought if everything went great, we could get a trophy, but I thought we certainly should be in the top 10. If you mapped out the seeds, how they placed out, I think we would have been 8th. So then it goes to the team thing, and there's a little bit of a pity party for a minute. Oh, poor me. But then you got to be a leader, and you got to step up, and you got to get to the next thing and help the team get going. So I was devastated for the guys mostly, and I think the staff was too.
And how was their reaction? How was the kid's reaction though?
Yeah, it was funny. I talked and I was a little shocked. I brought them all in the wrestling room. I kind of explained the situation. I kind of said how sorry I was that this had happened. It wasn't long, and I was a little struggling for, what to say. And then Pat Glory got up, actually.
Wow.
Pat Glory stood up. He's sophomore. And he kind of went on this rant that sort of led the whole discussion where he talked about how special the team was, how special this year was. And even though we lost this tournament, everything we did was, so worth it and so amazing, how much he loved going to war with these guys, even if it was torture, like the Oklahoma State, Iowa trip. So Pat kind of bailed me out a little bit, to be honest with you, in terms of like, I was, I said some good things, but he really hit it out of the park. And then we kind of realized this was the last time we were going to see each other because the university said everyone had to get out of there around that same time. So basically, school got canceled about the same exact time that the NCAA, we knew we weren't going to the NCAAs. So we had this meeting, and everyone just went around, some people more than others. And it was really a good moment where for about 2.5 hours, it was a little bit of closure where they went away, and we really didn't talk for about 2 weeks. And because that was good enough. And I think we all just needed to go away. And so that's how it went down. I don't even know if you asked me how it went down. You asked me.
No, it's how it went down. Yeah, I wanted to know exactly how it went down. I mean, I've talked to a bunch of other coaches and kind of, got how they felt. I'm going to ask the same thing to Scott tomorrow.
Yeah.
just I knew because I wanted to relate too, man. I mean, like I said, I had 38 kids going to states this year, and I was gonna make my first big mark. It was my second year in my club, and instead of like really thinking about the negatives about it, I thought about, hey, you know what? All those kids come back. I mean, you know, they're young kids. You know, they're young. They'll be back. But I wanted to know with you because it's different in college. I mean, the kid's a senior and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no more coming back for them. And then the fact that they're not going to get back their year, the NJ, I mean, not NJSA, NCAA was going to give them back their year. I kind of wanted just to see how, you know, it was for you guys in the college level, you know? So, which is,
yeah, it's hard. I mean, you know, we thought we'd have a national champ. I think out of the 4 guys that could win it, I think one of them would. I really was confident in Kolodzik. You know, and it's a shame that, you know, he only wrestled in 3 dates and he lost his side. We put in a waiver, though, to the NCAA, hardship waiver. So we're hopeful he'll get back this year.
that'd be great.
We'll see, though. It's just such a weird – it's unprecedented, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think he falls into a different category.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he only came out to wrestle at the NCAAs, essentially. Helped us out in duels, but the primary reason was that, you know, there was an opportunity. He had beaten a lot of the guys that were in the top 10. Not easily, but he was – we felt good about him winning it. But, you know, we'll never know. Maybe we'll know next year.
Hopefully, and I really do pray that you guys that does happen for you guys. I mean, you had a tremendous season. You definitely got the buzz in Jersey, and across the whole country. You know, like I said, you potentially. I mean, you had 6 guys going to nationals. Could have finished maybe within the top 10. So I loved hearing that story about Pat Glory. You know, being a leader like that.
Yeah.
That really is something that. Really, that's awesome that you have someone like that. It's always good to have somebody, you know, within your staff who could be that leader and voice amongst your kids and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, so he finished off this year as a Hodge finalist.
Yeah.
Obviously he didn't get it, but it's great that he was even nominated for that.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of my buddies who are Iowa fans and college fans were saying, you got to ask him about Spencer Lee. You got to ask him about Spencer Lee. You're like you got to ask him why do you think that Iowa didn't put Spencer Lee out there during the duel? Yeah. Why did he not wrestle out at Midlands? Thoughts on that?
Yeah. You know, his coaches had him on a schedule, to be honest with you. The Open was a couple weeks after our duel. I was really doubting they'd bring him to the duel. And I did not think he would wrestle at all at Midlands. It was just the way that fell into place, to be honest with you. If I were them, I swear I'd do the same thing. Just didn't make sense. But then they wrestled him at Midlands. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah. he's here. And I really did not expect him to be there because I think that was about a week and a half after the Open or something like that. And then he defaulted again. I don't think it was like people say ducking or some stuff. I don't think it was. I think they were managing him. I think they wanted to make sure they were going to win Midlands. So if they had any issues winning Midlands, I think they would have had him keep wrestling. But I think he was on a match count, to be honest with you.
All right. I mean, listen. I mean, let's not get technical here. Let's just be real right now. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Iowa. I like the Brands brothers. I think they definitely care about their kids and stuff like that. I know Spencer Lee is a competitor. I mean, I wouldn't doubt in 1 second in my mind that Spencer Lee didn't want to be out there. Yeah. I know people say duck and stuff like that. I mean, I kind of felt like he was ducking him. I kind of thought that Glory, you know, could possibly be his kryptonite. I know you don't want to talk in those terms, but you are the head coach of the wrestling team. But I'll do the talking for you. And I think that there's a possibility that Glory could have been that guy. And, you know, it didn't happen. And I
Yeah.
mean, you got next year. I mean, they all come back, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, so about that, I mean, if we had a scrub there, I think that I'll say that I think that Spencer probably would have wrestled if it was going to be an easy match, sandwiched right before the open. But it's a tough ass match right before the open. And again, I think it's a management call. I don't think it's like, hey, they're ducking. It's not. It's about being ready for the open. But there's a little bit about who it was that was wrestling at Princeton that night, and that makes a difference. And to be honest with you, we were confident in Glory. I mean, he had a dip. Well, I don't know if they watched the Piccinini match on Friday and made their decision, but he wrestled pretty damn good against Piccinini, and we were. I mean, I'll be honest with you, we were preparing for Spencer Lee since last year. So we didn't get our shot. Pat's upset about that, and hopefully we get a shot next year.
Awesome. I mean, we only have, I think in 4 minutes it turns off, guys.
Okay.
So,
Oh, shoot. That was quick.
Yeah, no. And so as soon as it turns off, we'll I'll reconnect again with Coach. There's a lot of things I want to talk about. I mean, a couple more things I want to talk about after the break. I want to talk about your assistant coaches. I want to talk about the training center at Princeton. I like to talk about, things about like how you recruit kids and things that kids should be thinking about at a young age and stuff like that. Something I really, really wanted to talk about was the girl wrestling in New Jersey.
Yeah, awesome.
About how much your wife is involved into it, about your
daughter.
There she is. Nice. Then we could get her in if she wants to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll get her over here.
This will be after when we get done. And just talking about the little Del Barton pipeline that you guys are creating.
We like that.
Which is awesome, and I'm really.
So out of curiosity, do you have to wait to hit 8 o'clock?
No. So what's going to happen is it's 8:56 right now. We
started.
started
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock.
Yeah, 8:59 exactly. It's going to just end on us. So we're going to have to redo what we did. I'm going to go back on, request me again, and then we'll go right back in. So everybody that's on is, we got about 26. There was about 35 on before. Come back on, and I want them to ask you some questions as well.
Okay, cool. That'd be awesome.
I think there's a couple questions. How's your relationship with the TCNJ staff?
Yep. Oh, it's amazing. So Galante's he comes over to our NJRTC too. So it's not just Rutgers and Princeton. TCNJ comes over a little bit. Some of the rider guys come as well. We're very open. I mean, we've had Penn guys come in. We really believe in sort of an open door policy. As long as you meet the criteria, we want you to come. We want to create a training environment where the best people come. I mean, two rivals are working together with Rutgers and Princeton. So we welcome anyone who wants to come in. Kid from American that wrestled at Mission, his name escapes me. He was training here this year. So it's a great relationship with TCNJ. I love Galante. Great guy.
He's a good guy. We wrestled together for many years in Team New Jersey and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know who runs the Scarlet Knight Wrestling Club, but they're laughing. I don't know what they're laughing about. They're laughing about something. I don't know what it is.
Oh, what is it? Oh, I don't even know.
It just says the Scarlet Knight Wrestling Club. They're laughing. I don't know what it is. When is Prince? All right, someone asked, when is Princeton going to start building a women's program? That I want to talk about. I really wanted to ask about that. We'll talk about that afterward. Yep. Mark Hauser, who's obviously good friends with Joe Dubuque. He says, who wins in a match, Dubuque or his wife?
Well, it depends. If it's a physical bout, I'd go with Joe Dubuque. If it's a mental warfare bout, he gets tech fall pins every time. I mean, she roasts him online. You got to follow her stuff, man.
Oh, man.
She's a treat and of most of her jokes. So 100%, it's all Mrs. Dubuque on the mental warfare.
Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna cut it right here, guys. Listen, we're gonna cut it right here. I'm gonna go directly right back on, and Coach, I'm gonna request. I mean, you request me, and then we'll go right
Okay.
back on again.
Yeah,
Guys,
just a
stay on,
button
guys.
comes.
What's up?
Right.
All right.
Just a button comes up, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll figure it out.
All right. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I mean, Instagram only allows an hour of talking, so we're gonna get him right back on again. Hopefully, you guys come back in again. Again, we have head coach of Princeton, Chris Ayres, on us. There we go. We got him back right back in again. All right. All right. Waiting for him to connect back on again. All right. Perfect. We're back on again. All right. See, that was easier that time.
Better.
Good, man. So we have more people coming back on again. I'm gonna ask a couple more questions, and then we'll go back into some questions from the people on here. So what I want to talk about is, let's talk about your assistant coaches. You got an awesome coaching staff:
Yeah.
Sean Gray, Joe Dubuque, Nate Jackson. Talk a bit about them.
Yeah, I think I have the best assistants in the country, and they're really not assistants. When you're at Joe's level and Sean's level, Joe and Sean, they're head coach level. I mean, they could run a D1 program, be head coaches. So they actually have the title associate head coach. It's just that, Princeton's a great place. They love it here, and we're just doing good things. And Nate is a good young up and coming coach, but his real focus is on training. So we don't have him do too many things. He's got a couple things administrative we like him doing. Obviously, he works with the team a lot, but his primary goal is to make the Olympic team. So we're pretty flexible with him. What's really neat about our staff is, we argue a lot. We fight for what we think is good, and then when we come to a resolution, we're all in on whatever we decide. So we have a lot of awesome conversations about which way the program should go, this way or that, recruiting wise, what should we do with, certain recruits and lineup. So I think that's a good thing. It's not like conflict. It's sort of like really, really grinding out what's best for the program, because that's all we all want. So it's a fun workplace. I mean, we're best friends, all of us. They're my best friends, and we just spend so much time together. It's kind of weird now. We get on conference calls with the families just to hang out because we kind of miss each other. So we all obviously have work calls too, but we have fun calls too.
Yeah, I mean, when I watch you guys together, it seems like you guys are having such a good time. Like, and what makes it better is that when you got a bunch of so-called underdogs, together, and they're having fun and you're winning.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't ask for a better atmosphere, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, so it looks fun for you guys, and
Yeah.
and I enjoy watching you guys because you guys are super intense in the corner. Joe Dubuque, 4'10", but the biggest. I'm only kidding. I've known Joe my whole life.
Yeah.
Good friends with Joe, but he's a fireball.
Yeah.
And watching you in the corner and Coach Jackson and Sean Gray, I mean, you guys have a great time, and it seems like that you guys kind of just like rub off on the kids. Like, you know what, we could have a good time and win too.
Yeah.
Right?
I got that a little bit from my coach Strobel. Like, so, I kind of grew up in the age of, you got to be tough and it's miserable and you just put your head down and you cut a lot of weight. My coach was different. He really helped me, relax a little bit when I was competing. He's like, this should be fun. He's like, you put a few kids in a room that are 5 years old, they'll wrestle. They think it's fun. And then he goes, you throw coaches in there and they screw it up and they make it miserable. areas of life. So we try to make wrestling a place that's fun,